Okay, so quick recap. So we're going to look at, nice work, stuff in the school environment. We'll go through some of the vocab. I'm going to do a separate vocab list, and you can find these in the what's the sign, but hopefully if I can put them in the same thing with the GIFs, that you can find them a little quicker, or at least go through them and practice them. We'll go through the things in a classroom, school supplies, stuff like that. So the video talks about how in hearing culture in English, we will use a person's name repeatedly or a person's title interchangeably with that, right? So you'll say, oh, doctor, will you do this? Oh, hey, Steve, can you hand me that? Or Steve here, he's done this. In ASL, once we've established their name or their title, that's it. We don't need to refer to it again unless we need to reiterate it or emphasize it for some reason. So once we said it once, we can just point then, oh no, him and him and him, So we've already gone over pronouns like that. This is just a continuation of that. We don't need to repeat names. You'll be fingerspelling a lot, and we're trying to avoid fingerspelling. So campus. Now, with each of these, there may be a few different signs, and I will introduce you to the generic setup for most of them, and then we can discuss other ones if you have questions when we're in class. So campus. You'll sometimes see this just for generic campus because it's now that the schools for the deaf are sort of waning in their, I don't want to say their importance or their value, but as now fewer and fewer people are going to them, it's now becoming a sign that's used for just the general area. I don't like using it personally. I think that is a sign that's best reserved for deaf people to use. I've also seen this, but most people don't like signing two different hand shapes. We tend to work towards identical hand shapes. So the best thing I can recommend is school area, and we use this sign for area. So it's like region, like space, or college area. Right? Parking, take a 3, and that's going to be a car parking area. Playground. Some people sign playground, and that's actually the next slide. Playground, but we're not actually talking about the dirt. Some people will sign this for campus, like the grounds, like literally ground. But conceptually speaking, it's not really. This is a better one. The college area or the school grounds, this is a much better sign. Forest area. Lab, L-A-B. And it's what we call a lexical fingerspelling or a lexical sign. That's where the fingerspelling is the sign. It's the most widely accepted way of signing lab. It looks like LB, but there is kind of that gloss through A in the middle of that lab. So accessibility service. Access is the same sign as enter or enroll. So, and service. Service, the best way of thinking about it is it's like being a server, carrying in trays of food. Service. It's also maid, any kind of servant. So access services, and you'll oftentimes see office, and we're signing room. Here's the 4 walls of a room with O's, office. You can see room, you'll see office sometimes. The dean. Most of the time we fingerspell dean. Sometimes you'll see like boss, someone with epaulets on, right? So this is the generic sign for boss. And then if you do this, it means sort of promoted, the big boss. So, I mean, it's hard because where do you put the chairman of a department versus the dean versus the provost versus the president of a university? It's kind of generic. Most people don't interact with the provost or the president, so I guess dean is probably the highest up you're gonna discuss in most cases, or me either, because I am certainly low on the totem pole as being just an instructor. So if I were referring to this, it probably would be most in reference to like my department chair, who is more my immediate boss, and then up to dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, and then office again. And you don't need the apostrophe S. You can dean's office, but we know dean. That's who we're talking about. Their office. Campus police. You do college, and there are a couple different ways to sign police. This is the most generic for badge. You'll see this as well for badge. College, police, or campus. Any of these signs, we could compound them. If you can't think of what the specific vocab is or you haven't learned it, if you can say, oh, it's the campus police office. Right. Or I think I pointed in the right direction. That way. So admissions. Admissions, same thing with access. Take a look at what's the sign. They generally have a few more vocab options than what I'm saying in here. I'm saying what's mostly used here. Admissions office, library, just circle an L. Cafeteria. Cafeteria is also the same basic sign as restaurant. It's like you're wiping your mouth with, this is the sign for napkin. Cafeteria, restaurant. Auditorium. You'll see odd, AUD. Again, that's that lexical fingerspelling where the fingerspelling is the sign. You'll see odd as well, which comes from signs like church, temple, things like that, auditorium. I've never seen this used. I've seen fingerspelled odd, and I've also seen most often this. So here's the seating. The stage is down here. The seating comes up and rises, right? So auditorium. Health center or clinic. Health is this. It's also the sign for strength, brave, those kind of health positive signs. Center, like middle, right? Health middle. We've done this for hospital. We've seen H for hospital, but if you do it with a C, it means like clinic. Gym or gym. I guess I've seen it with a G, but most often it's sort of like these little pinched up X's or A's for gym, workout. Workout. There's another sign for building, but I'm not going to worry about that right yet. Track and field. It's the sign for race. So here's two runners, and they're competing for who's first. You can also do sport area. You can do a specific soccer area, football area, whatever you want. Principal. So it's a P, you do a circle, and then drop it down to the back of your hand. Principal. I think it comes from them, smacking your hand with a ruler or something. But principal. The principal is your pal. Financial aid office. This is another one of those compound signs. Finance, financial, so money. Aid, the sign for help, and then office. Registrar, to register, to sign up for, so put your signature. Again, we've used this for state and law, like lawyer. So we're going to use registrar, register office, where you register for classes. Career center, so it's jobs major and an office or a center. So career, and sometimes people will do career like this. I'll say just add major, so job major, like the job you want in your major, center or office. Transfer, sometimes you'll see it with one hand. So here's the legs of a person moving from one place to another, transfer. Sometimes you'll see two, meaning more than one. It's just not one person who goes to the transfer center, lots of people. So center and office are interchangeable. Counseling and advising, if this is your desk, you're sending across information. Counseling, advising, also similar to the sign for like to infect someone, like you've spread your disease. Ew. Classroom, so class and then the four walls. Sometimes you'll even see me do classroom because I first learned it with initialized signs. Classroom, CCRR, classroom. It's also similar to the sign for ready, so I think that's why it's so hard for people to shake. So hallway makes sense, right? And I want you to picture that it's the walls on either side. If you do it down like this, it means road or way or path. So if you're pointing down towards it, it's not up by you. That's the road. If you do it up like this, it's hallway. Book and store. Compound and put them together. Cookie store, coffee shop, bookstore. Sign for Starbucks, if you remember that. And you can do wheelchair, so if you're spinning the wheels, right? Take a look at the what's the sign, and then go into all the variations. In here, that'll be the easiest. Okay. So next, we're going to look at things in a classroom. Chalkboard, whiteboard. This is the sign for white. Whiteboard, blackboard, or blackboard, whiteboard. So white and black. Black, keep the index finger straight and you just bring it across. From like black hair. Well, mine's gray now, but black, white. Desk, really it's the same as table. Sometimes you'll see it with a D, but desk, table, all the same thing. Chair. Projector, and it could be it says LCD projector, but ultimately it could be coming from above and down. It could be from below and up, or from the side. This is just the spray of light in whichever direction. And then the screen, most often we would do like, here's the rectangle, and then the light projects onto it. Window, door, and clock. Sometimes you'll see people go like time up on the wall. I think that's an older version of it. Textbook or class book. This is another sign for course, kind of like rule and state and law. Course book, workbook. Spiral notebook. I'm going to need to put an asterisk next to that one because I want to double check what they're using. Sorry. Eraser or eraser. Paper. Very similar to school. School is vertical. Paper slides to the side. Brush, brush, brush. The opposite of clean, clean, clean. Paper, paper, paper. Paper clip, whichever direction. Oh. Binder clip tends to be with the full hand, a little bit stronger. Stapler, just close, click that stapler. And you generally have the thumb out for that. This is milk. So stapler. Pencil, either pencil. This is an older sign with a P, pencil. And for some reason, we always used to lick the pencil first. I don't know if old graphite needed that to get started. Pen or pen, pencil, pen, pencil. Sit. Hold on. Scissors. No one does it. See, a scissor, scissors, right? So scissors, and or shears, as my grandma used to say. Calculator, or yeah, this is better for calculate. This is the verb calculate, to figure it out. Calculator. Right. Literally, when I was a kid, they used to say, "It's not like you're going to be carrying a calculator with you all the time, so you better memorize it." Yep, old. So the conversation starters are questions about the library or the college, and we'll probably talk about this one in class. And what things should I bring to class? So take a look at the conversation starter videos. Things and bring to. Laptop, right? You're opening your laptop. And she does assign this in the one video, which means close to. It's nearby. And at this moment, we can talk a little bit about small, medium, and large. If the face is kind of constricted, like even this, it means small. Something's nearby. Boom. If we go, cha, the cha, that means something's far away or large. And then in the middle is the Robert De Niro face, which is kind of like, right? It's the to be expected or medium size something. So if that makes sense. So when we're saying something's nearby, it's that kind of like small face, lemony face. And then computer, have, we've done that sign. And that's pretty much the conversation starters. And this is something we can talk about in class if we go in this direction about what you like in the classroom and how you study. And then we can do activities, review, look at the vocab, and I'll just post a vocab list as well so that you can double check, go through all that. Cool. So that's 2.2.